almost died for like 5 times in my life. And every single time, there's like a point where I'm like, I haven't done enough.
Challenges. There's no denying we all have them. These are the stories of ordinary people facing extraordinary challenges and emerging better on the other side. I'm Cheryl Hunter. As a teenager, I was kidnapped and held captive. I overcame the trauma and turned my life around. Today, my mission is to let you know that you are bigger than anything that can ever come your way. Join us for these extraordinary stories and be reminded that your true nature is to rise. I can't wait for you to meet Claire. Claire Wineland has cystic fibrosis, a terminal illness. Historically, people with cystic fibrosis died as infants, but fortunately, the lifespan of CF patients has risen over the past few decades. Today, Claire is 20 years old and still going strong, which is a testament to her mindset, force of will, and extraordinary support structure. Here is Claire's story in her own words. Claire, you've got a radically different take on life than most people. Why do you think that is?
I think when you've been in a position your entire life that the rest of the world deems as being horrible, and you realize, oh, okay, but I'm not miserable, there's like a moment where you realize, oh, okay, so then that's all wrong. You know what I mean? And then there's like, it's like if you're just right off the bat in the horrible situation, you realize you can be happy in it.
I heard you say that when you were born, your life expectancy was no more than 5 years. And as you've progressed in age, it's always been just a little bit out in the future ahead of you. What has it been like to be living in the face of potential death?
Having death constantly on your heels really like forces you to live. You know, you see this in movies all the time, but when someone gets diagnosed with a terminal illness, there's like that thing where they're like gonna go out and conquer the world and like bungee jump and, you know, like whatever it is. And I've actually never found that to be true. I think when you're living with the possibility of death, the thing you really want to do is live slowly. You want to take your time with everything. You want to go to school. You want to fall in love. You want to have friends. You want to like decorate your first apartment. You want to do those slow, simple, mundane things more than anything else. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's less about going out and living life and more about just sitting there and realizing that life is right in front of you. It's all around you, you know?
Claire is on 75 medications, has had 30 surgeries, and does between 4 and 6 hours of breathing treatments every single day. Despite how unimaginable that would be for most of us, Claire takes it in stride.
Thinking of not waking up and doing treatments is like really bizarre. Like, what do you mean you guys just like get up and brush your teeth and get dressed and leave? Like, what? And so we really do adapt to our circumstances. And so, yeah, childhood for me was like a normal childhood. But then once I grew up and I started talking to other people, I realized it wasn't normal at all. Like throughout my childhood, I would decorate my hospital rooms. And like, I don't mean like put a picture on the wall. I mean like deck out my hospital rooms and with twinkle lights and move the furniture, and it got to the point where like the nurses would like call everyone in every time I did a new room, and it was like a big thing, you know. And so I realized you really can make anything of a room, you know, because it's not good or bad. Just like a life is just a life. It's not good or bad, and you can kind of do whatever you want with it.
You see it as a choice, and that there's nothing good or bad. You can make of it as you will, but how did you get there?
You know, I do think one of the huge influences on my personality are my parents and the way that they raised me, because they're both very spiritual. And my dad's Tibetan Buddhist. He raised me with this understanding of the fact that there's always going to be suffering, you know, and there's always going to be death, and there's always going to be sickness. But those aren't reasons to not have a really incredible life at all. There's no reason that someone who's sick needs to be miserable. And everyone you meet kind of has this, like, I don't know, this vibe where they're kind of telling you like, okay, like it's cute that you're happy, but like really you're miserable, right? And like, and it's so weird because I don't think that they can wrap their heads around the fact that there's a way to be in pain, there's a way to be sad, and to have gone through a lot of pain and a big ordeal and still be okay. You know, realize you're part of a huge, epic story that is humanity. You are one single being in the midst of all of it, you know, and if you are sick and if things hurt, that's okay, that's a human body, that's a human mind, that's how it's gonna be, but there's still life going on.
Did you ever have a dark night of the soul moment?
Oh yeah, no, when I go dark, I go dark. It's always like, not just one night, it's like a week where I'm just like, I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know why I'm even trying, you know? And a lot of the times it's triggered by intense physical pain, because with CF, it kind of always hurts in some way or another because all of your organs are failing pretty much. So that's not fun. And I've spent around a quarter of my life in the hospital. I've almost died for like 5 times in my life. And every single time there's like a point where I'm like, I haven't done enough. I haven't done it. I haven't done the thing. And I'm like, God, no, I've had such an incredible life. And I'm so proud of that. And I think that that's something that everyone can experience, regardless of if you're sick or if you're rich or if you're poor or if you're, you know, and that kind of gets me through the pain and the suffering.
So you've managed to turn this around, this pain and suffering, and found a way to contribute to other people. Tell me about that.
Yeah, my mom used to actually always say to me, the only way to really live a happy and fulfilled life is to give yourself to something bigger. So around 5 years ago, I went in for a routine surgery and they ended up doing something wrong and I got a blood infection and it attacked the weakest part of my body, which was my lungs. So I went into full-on lung failure. And they put me on a ventilator, that didn't work. So they put me on an oscillator, and that did work, but it was shaky, and I had a 1% chance of surviving because no one with cystic fibrosis had ever been on an oscillator and come off alive. So that was around a month of my life that I was in a coma and that I was on the deathbed, and hundreds of people came out to support me and to be there for my family and, you know, and really help everyone through that. And when we came out, we realized, wow, that is something we are so lucky to have. And yet that is something that so few people in our position do have. And so then we were like, well, we should do something about that.
She absolutely did do something about that. At age 13, Claire, along with her parents, Melissa Nordquist and John Wineland, founded the Claire's Place Foundation. The foundation was created to provide support to families of children with cystic fibrosis. Claire's Place Foundation helps relieve financial pressure so that parents of kids with CF can focus on what matters most, being there with their kids.
What we found happens when you help and you support them, they can create space to make something beautiful out of their life, you know, and that's such an incredible gift. Last year we won LA Business Journal's Nonprofit of the Year award, and that was like the icing on the cake. Like we were like, okay, bam, it's real now. It's legit. We did it. We're running a foundation. You know, you can live an incredible life in a very short amount of time, you know?
Claire, if there is a better example of someone living life to the fullest, I have no idea who it is. Thank you. Thank you for being here and shining your light and making such a difference for people.
Of course. I hope it helps. I hope I have something to offer here. Yeah, thank you. You want to hug it out? You want to hug it out? Come on, bro. It's such a pleasure.
Oh, you are amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Even in the face of uncertainty, we can live extraordinary lives right now to the very, very fullest. I hope you enjoyed watching her as much as I did speaking with her. It was truly an honor. I'll see you next time here on Rise.